What is going on, everyone? Welcome to Coast to Coast Podcast, Mock Draft 1.0. And today we are welcomed by Chan Veer Hoti, the winner of our Fantasy Football League. Chan, how are we doing today?
The king of the league, the king.
Thanks for coming on, Chan. But we got all four of us
Thank you
here
for
today.
having me.
Yeah, 8 draft picks a person. We're going to go through the NFL draft. We're going to provide who we think each team should select, reasons why with needs and such. So without further ado, let's get into it. With the first overall pick in 2021 NFL draft, who do the Jacksonville Jaguars select, Chan?
All right, so we got a new coach. We got Urban Meyer in this. As we saw last season, that even though Minshew was healthy, they didn't want to play him. So either they're trying to set up the system to have a new quarterback come in, but it's pretty obvious that Trevor Lawrence is going first.
All right, so we got Trevor Lawrence off the board. Does anyone have anything to say about that? But I think it's pretty straightforward.
Nah, man, I'd be shocked if that didn't happen.
Yeah. All right, so we're just going to run through it. The second overall pick in 2021 NFL draft, New York Jets are on the clock. Jose, who do you got?
I've heard a lot of talk about Zach Wilson or Trey Lance, but I think the Jets need a QB badly. They need a playmaker, and I think they're stupid if they don't take Justin Fields.
Justin Fields off the board. All right, so now number 3 overall pick, 2021 NFL draft. We got the Dolphins on the board with their pick from the Houston Texans in the Laremy Tunsil deal. And I, myself, in the Dolphins GM position here, I would like to propose a trade, number 5, to Chan with the Bengals. I know you guys need a big left tackle out there, and you got the best left tackle on the board in Penei Sewell. How about we do a trade here? We won't include the second round picks and such, but what do you think about a swap? You get to go up in the draft, and theoretically, I get a second round pick in the future third.
I'm going to be honest, I don't think the Bengals are going to be trading up. I think there's a lot of talent in this draft for offensive linemen, and I don't see the advantage in the Bengals trading up.
Okay. All right, we'll run with that. So therefore, with the third overall pick, the Dolphins will select Penei Sewell, tackle, Oregon. Big body guys showing his success in the Pac-12. So the number 4 overall pick, the Atlanta Falcons are on the clock. Carson, what do you got to do here?
I was thinking about just taking the best defensive guy available because that's really what the Falcons need. But I think with Zach Wilson on the board, he's too hyped of a prospect to not draft him and let him, sit under Matt Ryan for probably a year. And I think it's a perfect opportunity because, Ryan was still probably going to be good for a couple of years, but I think you should be able to, draft him and then, trade Ryan later and probably get some more assets for him because I think, Matt Ryan is still a top, quality quarterback in this league. So I think I'm going to have to go with Zach Wilson to be the Falcons quarterback in the future.
All right, we got Zach Wilson off the board. So we're moving on. Pick 5. Chan, you got your second pick here with the Bengals. Obviously, a promising quarterback in Joe Burrow. They need a lot of help, though. So what you got?
All right, so obviously, as we saw, the Dolphins took the number 1 tackle, right, in the draft. So as a result, I think they're going to take Rashawn Slater, tackle Northwestern. He is killing it. He's not obviously as dominant as Sewell, but he's still a great tackle, and they finished so bad in protection that they need offensive linemen.
Definitely got to agree on that one. A guy that showed him against what's his name? Chase Young, obviously in the Big Ten.
They got a lot of film against Chase Young. Yep.
We know he's a versatile guy. He can play, either left tackle, right tackle, inside, especially with, someone like Jonah Williams, a promising prospect at left tackle. We'll see what goes on there, but love the pick. So number 6, Jose, you're the Eagles. What are you doing here in this situation?
Okay. Perfect scenario, Eagles are hoping Penei Sewell either falls or they trade up, but I think their number 1 need right now is offensive weapons, and I think there's a great offensive weapon here on the board in Jamar Chase, but it's the Eagles, so we're going to take Devontae Smith.
All right. Love the pick.
If I could intertwine real quick, I disagree with Jose. I think that Zach Ertz is not coming back, and they might take Pitts with that pick. Pitts is a solid player. He's destroying it. That's a hot take.
Yeah, I know. Pitts is honestly definitely
I'm saving.
Yeah, but the Eagles the typical Eagles move would be to take one of those receivers.
Yeah.
Yep.
So they're going to go with the Bama guy here, according to Jose. You know, a talented guy, won the Heisman. We know what he can do out there. Obviously, he's got injury concerns. You know, he's 170. He's a frail guy. You know, kind of, you know, gives that Deshaun Jackson kind of a lighter version of him. But we'll see what he can do. He's a talented guy. He stays on the field. He's going to produce for you guys. But with the number 7 overall pick, the Detroit Lions are on the board, and myself, you know, I had to do a lot of thinking about it here. I think you got some needs. You got wide receiver. They just lost Kenny Golladay to the Giants. I think defense is huge for them and O-line. So ideal situation here. I'm looking to draft the top wide receiver that's on the board. So therefore, I'm taking Jamar Chase out of LSU, a big body guy that can go up there and get it. You know, he's not the deep threat that Devontae Smith is, but he kind of replaces that Kenny Golladay mold. It's just going to hope that Jared Goff can get the ball to him, but I'm just going to walk with Jamar Chase at pick 7. All right. Number 8, Carolina Panthers. You know, they got a quarterback problem apparently of Teddy Bridgewater. They've been looking for the Deshaun Watson sweepstakes. We don't know if this trade's going to go down, but Carson, you're on the board at number 8. What are you doing for the Panthers?
Yeah, you know, like you said, they do need a quarterback, but I think honestly, if I'm them, I'm going all in for Deshaun Watson. And I think a player that would probably be thrown in that package, who I'm surprised is still on the board, is Kyle Pitts. I'm taking him. It would be a perfect, you know, put him in with they lost Samuel, but you still have DJ Moore, Robbie Anderson. It's a really, really solid offense. So as long as or as well as CMC. So I think I'm gonna take Pitts and then, you know, hopefully be able to put him in a package to get Watson. But yeah, I'm gonna take Pitts here because I'm just surprised he's still on the board.
Yeah, definitely one of the most versatile weapons we see on football. You know, he just came out, ran a 4.46 unofficial. The hype's crazy around this guy. You know, he's probably the best tight end prospect we have seen since Vernon Davis, in my opinion, you know, in terms of sheer speed and athleticism. So I love this guy. I think he's going to have some great success in the league. Anyone else got to say anything?
Yeah, honestly, I'm
Pick for
surprised
the
he fell, but
Panthers.
I was hoping I could snag him further down. It's fine.
Yeah,
All right.
I was actually, yeah.
Okay, so we'll move on. Since Chan joined the show, we gave him his team. We gave him the Broncos, number 9 overall pick. You know, made a huge signing in free agency. We're able to secure Kyle Fuller from the Bears. You know, pretty big steal of a deal. You know, people were thinking they take Farley, Surtain, but it's in the hands of you, Chan. Who are you taking?
Yeah, all right. So when I was doing research for this, I saw thousands and thousands of mock drafts that said that Philly was going to go. And I'm looking at these drafts, I'm thinking they're re-signing today. They just re-signed, what's his name? Kareem Jackson. They're bringing on Bradley Roby. They're bringing on Kyle Fuller, who's arguably one of the top cornerbacks, right? Bryce Callahan killed it. He was a rookie coming out, and he killed it. He held his own. And in that situation, I think what we need help with is linebackers. I don't see them taking a quarterback because I hate to break it to you, Carson, but I think a lot of sources came out that Deshaun Watson is choosing between the Broncos or the Niners. We'll see what happens, but even if he does go to the Niners, we still have a lot of free agency room. So there I see them taking Micah Parsons, linebacker. I want to say Northwestern, but I'm not sure.
Penn State.
He's 5-star recruit. Oh, Penn State. 5-star recruit. He's killing it. We did lose linebackers, and I don't see us taking a quarterback or a cornerback.
Yeah, definitely a versatile guy, you know, can play inside, outside, especially with the future of Von Miller in question. He can be a guy that can provide some pass rush, but definitely a position of need for the Broncos. But we'll move on. Pick 10, Jose, you got your Cowboys. A lot of problems to address, mainly that the defense. What do you got for number 10?
Yeah, I mean, my ideal scenario is Penei Sewell. Hopefully, we can trade up in the actual draft. But if we can't, you know, I think we need a great guy to pair alongside Trayvon Diggs, and who better than his fellow Alabama alumni, Patrick Surtain II, at number 10. That's who I'm going with.
A guy that performed great at his pro day today, ran a 4.42, 18 reps of 225 on the bench. Absolutely ridiculous. Great to see from him.
That's like 5 less
you
than me.
Especially with Caleb Farley having injury concerns now with going under surgery. Definitely love the pick. Anyone got to say anything so far before we move on? All right, we'll keep it moving.
Solid.
All right, so number 11 overall pick, the New York Giants, according to me, will select Kwity Paye, edge rusher, Michigan. I think it's a position need that they need to address. The last guy that they had that was a big sack guy that's off the edge was Marquise Goldwyn 2 years ago. Obviously, they got Leonard Williams. They got a big front guys, but I think Kwity Paye is a guy that can slide out there, play that edge outside linebacker role. This defense is nasty for the Giants. I think it's one that's going to be one of the tops of the leagues heading into next year. You know, headed by Joe Judge, who came from Bill Belichick, a good defensive coach. I think Kwity Paye is going to be the pick here. So we'll move on. Number 12, Carson. I gave you our Niners. What are you going to do for them?
Man, I mean, we do need a quarterback. Waddle is pretty tempting. Just the thought of Waddle, Ayuk, and Debo, but I think I'm gonna have to take Trey Lance, and hopefully look to trade Jimmy. I know there's been some rumors that the Patriots kind of want him back. I think that would be a pretty solid deal, and then we could just take Trey Lance and have Shanahan develop him. So I'm gonna go with Trey Lance. Honestly, hopefully he'll be our QB of the future if we can't get Watson, because like that's the ideal.
Definitely got to agree on that one. A solid pick in Lance, a guy that, he's shown that is not really a turnover prone machine, in his best seasons at North Dakota State through no interceptions. Is what kind of got him the buzz on the board, especially coming from Carson Wentz, his alum. So the 13th overall pick, no longer San Diego, Los Angeles Chargers are on the board. Chan, what do you got them doing?
All right, so idealistically, I see them taking Kyle Pitts. I see Kyle Pitts dropping, and I see them Kyle Pitts because the loss of Hunter Henry definitely will affect them and will affect Herbert. But if Kyle Pitts is not on the board, I see them taking Christian Darrisaw. I think that's how you pronounce it. Tackle, Virginia Tech. As I said before, this draft is loaded with offensive linemen, and I definitely see a lot of talent in this guy. They need to protect Herbert. Herbert is the future. I hate to say this as a Broncos fan, but Herbert is one of the greatest quarterbacks that's going to be coming up in this league.
Got to agree on that one. I know Jose's got a strong opinion about that one. So moving on to number 14. Jose, you're on the clock for the Minnesota Vikings. Also, you got a promising rookie performance out of Justin Jefferson out of LSU, put at the 1,400 yards. What do you have them doing in this draft?
I mean, I think the number one need the Vikings need is an O lineman, and sadly they're all gone right now. So I think their edge could use a little help. So I'm gonna go ahead and give them, where's he at? Gregory Rousseau.
Honestly, love the pick coming from the U himself. So we'll move on to pick number 15. We got the New England Patriots on the clock. Obviously, made a lot of moves this offseason, going out there, spending big money on guys like Judon, re-signing Cam Newton, plenty of moves. But, for the number one role thing they need a dynamic wide receiver one. They got guys like Aguilar, Kendrick Bourne, Julian Edelman, Jacoby Myers, but none of those guys strike me as a guy that's going to be a number one receiver in the offense. And I actually slotted Rashad Bateman at this, but seeing that Jalen Waddle is still on the board despite his injury concerns, it's too much to walk away from. So I have the New England Patriots selecting Jalen Waddle, wide receiver, Alabama. All right. So moving on to pick number 16. Carson, you're on the clock with the Arizona Cardinals. Obviously, we're able to secure J.J. Watt this offseason, looking to be promising, but still got a rough division ahead of them. What do you have them doing here?
Waddle is juicy. I'm mad you took him because I probably would have taken him just to pair him with AJ Green and then D Hop. But I'm gonna go with Christian Barmore to pair him with Chandler Jones and JJ Watt. I think this guy's 6'5", like 310. Alabama's always producing really good pros. Just putting him with those two guys and to learn under those two guys, I think would just be incredible. And the Cardinals do need defense as well, so I'm gonna go with Barmore. Barmore.
Yeah, sure, Barmore. Yeah, great run stuffing guy out of Alabama. We've seen some great prospects come from there. Quinnen Williams, Jonathan Allen, De'Aaron Payne, a lot of big guys from there. So probably going to have some success in this league. So move on to the number 17 overall pick. Chan, you got the Raiders. What do you have them doing here?
All right. I think the Raiders are one of the most poorly managed organizations in this league right now. And I don't know if it's the gambling, but Gruden something's wrong with Gruden. I mean, you look at this offensive line; they're gone. There's only one tackle that remains from the previous seasons, and even that tackle is not the best. You look at Rodney Hudson; they released him. That was a $2 million cap hit for this year's cap. So I don't really know what's going on there, but I think they're trying to do an offensive line regime change. And their 5 seasons seeing Jackson Carman, offensive tackle Clemson. He was there with Trevor Lawrence, and I think he's going to do well under Gruden, but we'll see.
Honestly, they love their Clemson guys out there, so makes sense for a pick, something that Mayock, and Gruden would go for. So the number 18 overall pick, the Dolphins have their own pick, their own selection here. Jose, what do you have them doing?
I mean, I think the Dolphins, their defense is already pretty elite. They need a running back, but I don't think there's any running back talented enough to take in the first round. So I have him taking another Miami guy, Jalen Phillips. I mean, I've seen analysts talk about this guy as if he's the best pure pass rusher in his class. He obviously had 5.5 sacks in his final 3 games. So I think Jalen Phillips is a guy that would fit in this Miami defense.
Staying local to Miami, I love the pick. Was super talented, was a former 5-star recruit. I believe he was the number 1 recruit in his class when he came out. Went to UCLA, didn't have much success there due to injuries. Came to Miami, had a breakout season alongside Quincy Roche. Love the pick there. So number 19, I got the Washington football team. They're on the board. For top needs, I got future quarterback, offensive tackle, and linebacker. So at this point, we already see someone like Caleb Farley is on the board. I think they're secure at corner at this point. They got themselves Kendall Fuller, and they also have William Jackson, who I believe is a very underrated player. So looking along the list, I'm going to have to take Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah out of Notre Dame, a super versatile linebacker. He showed he won the Butkus Award. He may be a frail linebacker, but I feel like in this Washington defense, he's going to excel. I feel like they're missing that one guy. You think Reuben Foster was going to be it, but it seems like he's gotten a lot of problems with getting into trouble. But just looking at him, he had a lot
Off
of
the field stuff.
Yeah, off the field stuff. But Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah, 47 tackles, was able to get some pass rushing in there. I think he's a dynamic guy, and I have him going number 19. So the 20th overall pick, the Chicago Bears on the clock. Carson, what do you have them doing here?
They need a quarterback, so I mean, hopefully they maybe trade up, but they also do need a tackle. If they're gonna go with Andy Dalton, they're probably gonna be pretty run heavy, and tackle super important for that, obviously. So I'm gonna go with Tevin Jenkins out of Oklahoma State. First team All Big 12. This guy's a monster, 6'6", 320. This dude is insane, and I think it'd be a nice fit for the Bears. And Dave Montgomery would probably be happy for show.
Gotta agree on that one. Gotta keep the guy who had a really good end of last year. So move on to the 21st overall pick. We got the Indianapolis Colts on the clock. Obviously, they were able to secure Carson Wentz. Appears to be the heir apparent, to Andrew Luck at this point. You feel like Frank Wright got the keys to unlock this man. So Shan, we'll hand it off to you. What do you have the Colts doing?
All right, so we look at the Colts organization, and I had to ask my brother for this because he's a Colts fan. And you look at the team right now. The defense, stellar defense, right? They were able to get Malik Hooker back, and everyone else is killing it already on that team. So we look at the offense, and offensive line is one of the greatest lines in the league is right now. So with T.Y. Hilton hitting free agency and a new quarterback coming in, and Marlon Mack hopefully returning healthy, they're taking a wide receiver, and I think they're going to believe in Bateman. Wide receiver in Minnesota, I think that's the best choice for them right now. I had Waddle down initially because I think he's going to drop, but we'll see what happens.
Honestly, go out there, get Bateman, a guy I myself am personally high on. I think he's got a huge ceiling. I think Devontae Adams is a ceiling. This guy, he's physical. Yeah, he's a speed. He can get some speed on him. I love what I've seen from him out of Minnesota. Just want to see him produce. So love the pick. So move on. Number 22, we got the Tennessee Titans. Jose, you're on the clock here. What do you got to address?
Yeah, I mean, at first I had J.C. Horn down for them. They needed a tight end or a cornerback. They just lost Adoree Jackson and Desmond King. And I was hoping, J.C. Horn would still be here at 22, but somehow, some way.
Oh, yeah.
somehow, some way, Caleb Farley is still on the board here at 22, which I think is a steal for the tight ends. He's got the size, he's got the speed. I think he's going to be a great player to replace Adore and Desmond.
All right, so we had the Tennessee Titans selecting Caleb Farley, cornerback, Virginia Tech. So 23rd overall pick, the New York Jets are back on the clock after getting this pick from the Jamal Adams trade. So at this point, we already have Justin Fields going there. So taking a look who I think they need a deep threat wide receiver. Also got to go for an edge or a cornerback. Ideal scenario for them, I either have them going Aziz Ojulari, but in this situation, a guy that I think just showed crazy potential with Rondell Moore running a 4.29 out of his his pro day. So I'll have the Jets selecting Rondell Moore, wide receiver, Purdue. So we'll move on to the 24th overall pick. We have the Pittsburgh Steelers, started off the season fantastic, then just kind of seemed to fall off a little bit. Carson, you're addressing this first pick with them. What do you got to do?
I'm trying to look for a guard, honestly, but they do need a safety. And Trevon Moehrig from TCU is still on the board. Pretty high ranking. He's kind of fallen a bit. So I'm just gonna have to go with him, honestly. Pittsburgh's known for their defense. I think, you got Minka, you lost Bud Dupree, but I think this is a nice addition to their defense, just to build back a little bit younger for the Steelers. So I'm just gonna go with Moehrig.
All right, Trayvon Moehrig is off the board. So with pick 25, Jacksonville Jaguars with the trade for the Jalen Ramsey will be on the board at number 25. Chan, what's going on here?
All right. So, we look at the Jaguars team as overall, they played horribly, right? They had a horrible season, and we look at the defensive side of the ball, right? They finished 31st in sacks, and they finished 29 in tackles. And you look at the depth chart, this is a solid depth chart. They have Josh Allen hold it down. They have Miles Jack still, Joe Schobert, and C.J. Henderson, right? Coming out of that, they were high on C.J. Henderson. And obviously, their defense is not cutting it. So I think that what they're going to go with here is to increase their pressure, try to get the sack numbers up, try to get up. So I think they're going to go for Carlos Basham, defensive end, Wake Forest.
All right. So, yes, Carlos Basham is off the board. So 26th overall pick, the Cleveland Browns, who finally were able to make the playoffs in a wonderful season, are on the board. Jose, what's Cleveland doing?
Yeah, I think Cleveland right here really just needs to take the best defensive player available, regardless of position. I think it's just something you could figure out later, develop them under, maybe package them. And I think the best guy available on the defensive line right here is Jason Owe. I don't know how you pronounce it, but Owe. But yeah, just a really physical edge. Put him opposite of Myles Garrett, or just have him as a depth guy. Solid pick.
All right, love the pick. So we're moving on to 27. We got the Baltimore Ravens are on the clock. Looking at them, I think the number one need is pretty obvious here. They need to get themselves a wide receiver, but I think that's wrong. I don't think the number one need is wide receiver entirely, because I think edge is something that they have to address. But unfortunately, my ideal scenario was either to go Trayvon Moehrig out of TCU or Jalen Phillips. I thought he was going to slide down there, but obviously he's gone already in this mock draft. So I think a guy who was very undershadowed in the LSU record-breaking offense. I will have the Baltimore Ravens selecting Terrace Marshall Jr., wide receiver, LSU. A big body guy, especially, alongside Marquise Brown, who's known for his speed. Terrace Marshall is also a speedster himself, but 6'3", 200. I think he's the guy that's going to work for them. Devin Duvernay, Marquise Brown, let those guys play inside. Throw Terrace Marshall out there, and I think it's going to be a wonderful for Lamar Jackson. He's going to love this guy. So Terrace Marshall Jr., wide receiver, LSU. So with the number 28 overall pick, we have the New Orleans Saints, who managed to make their way out of Capel so far. So Carson, what do you have the Saints doing?
They need a cornerback, so I was looking for guys. I think Asante Samuel Jr. Fits pretty well here. First team All ACC, last season. I was debating between him and J.C. Horn. I'm gonna be honest, like I don't know much about either. But I was like, you know what, Asante Samuel Jr. is pretty sick, so I'm just gonna go with him. Address the a need at cornerback, and yeah, just to bolster up that Saints defense.
All right.
And opposite Lattimore, Lattimore, you got him at safety. Or is Lattimore a cornerback? Or
Lattimore's corner.
Cornerback.
They got
Cornerback.
Marcus Williams and Chauncey Gardner-Johnson
Chauncey
playing
Gardner.
safety.
Yeah.
Put him on the other side with Lattimore. I like it. So.
All right.
And
so we have the
Jenkins. Don't they
Saints.
have Malcolm Jenkins?
He
Yeah,
got
Jenkins.
cut.
Well, Jenkins old
They
though.
do,
He's almost
yeah.
done.
Jenkins.
Yeah,
Jenkins on
he's
his
on
way
tail
out.
end.
He's on the
Yeah.
Titans, I believe. I think he got cut.
Oh.
Really? Dang.
Yes.
So who are the safeties for the Saints right now?
Chauncey Gardner-Johnson. He also plays slot corner for them, but they also had Malcolm Jenkins and then Marcus Williams, the guy from the Stephon Diggs catch.
Oh no, he just got his deal restructured.
Oh, he did.
Yeah, he got franchise tag, I think. All right, so move on. Pick 29. Green Bay Packers. Obviously, Aaron Rodgers with an MVP season out there. I think they got to go out there, get a wide receiver. But I'll let Chan handle this. Chan, what do you got to say?
So you know what? That's what I was thinking. I'm looking at this pick and I see this right. 29th pick. What are they going to do here? Last year they got a lot of slack they got. I don't know if I can cuss on this, but they got They got
we do it all the time.
Look at it. They didn't take a receiver, and even you can even see that. Aaron Rodgers said that the moment he saw they didn't take a receiver, he started drinking tequila. Obviously, he knows he needs weapons, but they're not going to give him weapons. I think if he was able to have an MVP season without any help, I think they're going to put him back out there and they're going to try to force. But they want a quarterback competition, so they want to see if Aaron Rodgers can keep going. If not, they're going to put in Love, right? And with that being said, you guys watched the playoffs. Kevin King got destroyed, right? Horrible. That defense, I blame the defense for their lack of ability to win in the playoffs because I think it's not Aaron Rodgers. So with that being said, with the cornerbacks left on the clock or with on the board, I think they're taking Greg Newsome, cornerback, Northwestern.
All right. A guy that actually has seen been rising up a lot of draft boards, not someone that's particularly a hot name. A couple weeks ago, people might have said J.C. Horn here, but love the pick there. Northwestern had a fantastic defense. So with pick number 30, the Buffalo Bills are on the clock. Obviously, Josh Allen and Diggs were an amazing connection this year. They were able to secure Emmanuel Sanders in free agency. But I think there's a lot of needs they still got to address. They aren't the most complete team in the league. So, Jose, what do you got to do for the Bills?
Yeah, I mean, we saw, this Buffalo Bills offense kind of struggle on the running side of the ball. And I really want, as much as I want to take, a guy like Travis Etienne or Najee Harris, I think with J.C. Horn still available, you got to take him here. More depth, just have more depth in your secondary is never a bad thing. And especially when you're going to be probably going up against the Chiefs. So J.C. Horn is my pick.
I love the pick. So we got J.C. Horn headed to Buffalo. So 31st overall pick, the runner-ups themselves, the Chiefs are on the clock. I think the most notable need they need to get is offensive tackle, but also think something they need to look at is a wide receiver too. Sammy Watkins has been proven to be injury riddled. McCole Hardman is not the guy that people expected him to be coming out of college. He's really just a fast guy that can run some jet sweeps. Also, linebacker needs to be addressed. So would have loved to secure the tackle Tevin Jenkins from OSU, but obviously he was picked earlier. So we're going to head over to Southern California. We're going to select Elijah Vera Tucker, tackle, USC, a guy that is able to play inside and out. In 2020, he played left tackle. 2019, he played left guard and played right guard in 2018. Obviously, some concerns given that Austin Jackson from USC didn't turn out as well, but I think Elijah Vera Tucker's got the ability to move around, the mobility. So we're going to have Elijah Vera Tucker here with the 31st pick. So in the last pick of the first round, we have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers on the clock. Obviously, we're able to dominate that Super Bowl. So Carson, what do you got to say?
Well, they got guys like JPP getting a little bit older, so I think they should kind of reload on that defensive line. And I have them taking Azeez Ojulari. I'm probably messing that up. This guy is a monster from Georgia. 8.5 sacks. He had 3 in the Peach Bowl in a win against Cincinnati. And they do need an edge guy, so I haven't taken the man himself from Georgia with the last pick in the first round.
All right.
Aziz.
So that concludes our mock draft 1.0 from the Coast to Coast podcast. Obviously, some guys that were left off, not taken, most notably cornerback Mac Jones from Alabama, someone that I've seen been a hot pick to be that 32nd overall pick. So we'll see what happens. But without further ado, we are going to conclude today's episode. Obviously, if you stuck around, thank you so much. You know what, Chan? You did a pretty good job today. You might give another
Thank
back
you.
on the
Thank you.
show.
I'm
Loved
so
your-
glad you guys
Yeah,
had me.
shout out to Chan.
Yeah, loved your
thank you.
input. So
Look
we're
at
gonna call
Chan,
it-
man.
yeah, we're going to call it tonight.
So inspirational.
Without further ado,
Thank you.
signing out. Peace.